Okay, the first application about what you are doing with trigonometry is finding side lengths. You told me that you'd done it before. Good. So really, if I wanted to call you out on that, I could give you the test now and you'd be able to pass it. Would you want to do that?
No.
Okay, I want to teach it to you first so that we can make sure. We can use the trig ratio, SOHCAHTOA, to find unknown side lengths in any right-angled triangle in with two conditions. You must have a known angle. You need to know the size of one of the angles, not the 90 degrees, because if you've got a right-angled triangle, must it have a 90-degree angle in it? Yes, so that's not what we're talking about. You have to have an angle known that's not the right angle. And also you need to know a side. So the steps that you're going to use to find an unknown side length. Number one, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there's different ways of measuring angles. And you may have not noticed before that every calculator is going to have a button that says DEG or RAD. What do you reckon DEG stands for? Degrees. Does anyone know what RAD stands for?
Radius.
What?
Radius, maybe?
Close. Radians. The only people that are going to have to deal with radians are people that are going to do extension maths next semester, or if you do methods. All we're going to do is be aware of it. It's a way of measuring angles that you don't need to know about, but some calculators default to radians. So step one for me is always to check your calculator is in degrees mode. How do I do that? Find what tan 45 is. So on my Apple calculator, if I go 45, tan, see how it says 1?
Yeah.
That means it's in degrees mode and everything is going to work. Always check that. I'm just going to show you quickly what it shows when it's in radians mode. So if I press rad, can you see it says rad in the corner? That's showing it's in radians mode. If I go 45, tan, see it's not 1. If you do extension maths next semester, you'll know why. But for now, if you see that, you're going to go, oh, it's not in degrees mode. So I find the button that says DEG or RAD,
This
put it
one
back.
says DRG.
DRG, that's, yeah, that probably means degrees to radians mode or something. So now I'm in degrees mode. So check 45, 10 is 1. Okay, I'm ready to go with finding side lengths. Step 2, check that you have a known angle, a known side, and also check that it's a right angled triangle. And then step 3, choose the trig ratio that involves the known side and the unknown side. Then you use your calculator and rearrange to find the unknown side. What the hell does step 3 and step 4 mean? Let me show you with this example here. Do I have a right angled triangle?
Yep.
Do I have an angle that I know that's not the right angle? Do I have a known side? So that fits these requirements. So what do? Choose the trig ratio, SOHCAHTOA, that involves the known side and the unknown side. So let's label this. In relation to 61 degrees, what is x? Opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Good. Off. This one is adjacent. This one is hypotenuse. So which of the trig ratios, SOHCAHTOA, involves opposite and hypotenuse? So we're dealing with this. So then from your previous notes, you know sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. What is theta? What's the angle that I know? 61 degrees. Sine of 61 degrees is equal to opposite. Do we know what the opposite is? No, it's x. Over hypotenuse, do we know what the hypotenuse is? Good. That's it. Is there only one thing that I don't know here? Because the calculator can find sine 61 for me. So use your calculator and rearrange to find the unknown side. What is the opposite of dividing something by 9.6? Good, so I go 9.6 times by sine 61 degrees is equal to x. So now I grab my calculator because you can't work out what sine of an angle is. So if you've got the Apple calculator, go 61 sine. So I've just worked out what sine 61 is. What would I type now? Times by 9.6. So that's telling me x is 8.4 centimeters, which makes sense because in a right angled triangle, the longest side is always going to be the hypotenuse. So this side should be shorter, slightly shorter. I want to talk a little less on this one. What do? The only thing I'll write is SOHCAHTOA. What would I label this side? The one with nothing there. This one? This one? Which ratio do I use? Sorry? So with your chest, tan. Why? Opposite and adjacent. Toa. So tan theta is equal to opposite. What is the angle? 41. What is the opposite?
7.8.
Yeah. Over x. This one's a little trickier. What's the difference between this situation and this one? Where is the x? X is on the bottom, so I need to take 2 steps here. How do I get rid of dividing something by x? So multiply by x, multiply this by x. What happens to this x? It cancels. So what you've got is x times by tan 41 is equal to 7.8. I want x by itself. What's the opposite of times in something by 10? Good. So x is going to be 7.8 divided by tan 41. Now, if you're using the Apple calculator, because it can't handle bed mass and everything, I need to work what that out is first and then do the division after. So I'll show you what I would do in the Apple calculator. I'll go 41 10. It's like 0.86. So 7.8 equals 0.869. I'll just round to 2 decimal points, 0.87. And now I can go on my calculator and work that out. So 7.8 divided by 0.87, 8.9. It's 2 dp meters. I didn't write, that's 1 dp. 8.97 does, well, we don't know the hypotenuse, so we don't know if it's shorter, but that seems about right because this is 7. Okay? Can you get that example done, please, and then your homework until, when is our next lesson? Is it Friday? Yeah, just before Friday starts, can you just make sure you've done 12C? If you finish early, you should.